To combine, put together two or more quantities. Addend. Any number being added. Area model. A model of multiplication that shows each place value product within a rectangle drawing. Array. An arrangement of objects in equal rows. Area. The measure in square units of the interior region of a two-dimensional figure or the surface of a three-dimensional figure. Associative property of multiplication. The product stays the same when the grouping of factors is changed. xc equals ax, where a, b, and c stand for any real numbers. Acute angle. An angle with a measure less than 90 degrees. Angle. Two rays at share and endpoint. Bar graph. A graph that uses the height or length of rectangles to compare data. Associative property of addition. The sum stays the same when the grouping of addends is changed. Plus c equals a plus, where a, b, and c stand for any real numbers. Algorithm. A step-by-step method for computing. Centimeter. A metric unit of length equal to 0.01 of a meter. 100 centimeters equals 1 m. Congruent. Having exactly the same size and shape. Angle measure. The measure of the size of an angle. It tells how far one side is turned from the other side. A 1-degree angle turns through 1/360th of a full circle. Common multiple. Any common multiple of two or more numbers. Commutative property of multiplication. The product stays the same when the order of the factors is changed. axb equals bxa, where a and b are any real numbers. Corresponding terms. Terms that are in the same position in a sequence of numbers. In the pattern shown, 9 and 18 are the third terms in each sequence. They are corresponding terms. Compare. To decide if one number is greater than, less than, or equal to another number. Customary system. A system of measurement used in the U.S. The system included units for measuring length, capacity, and weight. Braces. Braces can be used to indicate that the objects written between them belong to a set. Commutative property of addition. The sum stays the same when the order of the addends is changed. A plus b equals b plus a, where a and b are any real numbers. Brackets. A type of grouping symbol used in pairs that tells what operation to complete first. Benchmark fractions. Fractions that are commonly used for estimation. Common denominator. For two or more fractions, a common denominator is a common multiple of the denominators. Comparison bars. Used to represent larger and smaller amounts in a comparison situation, can be used to represent all four operations. Different lengths of bars are drawn to represent each number. Denominator. The quantity below the line in a fraction. It tells how many equal parts are in the whole. Difference. The amount that remains after one quantity is subtracted from another. Dividend. A quantity to be divided. Digit. Any of the symbols 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Divide. To separate into equal groups and find the number in each group or the number of groups. Distributive property. When one of the factors of a product is a sum, multiplying each addend before adding does not change the product. Divisor. The quantity by which another quantity is to be divided. Line plot. Also known as a data plot, a diagram showing frequency of data on a number line. Equal. Having the same value. Equal groups. Groups that contain the same number of objects. Whenever you divide, you separate items into equal groups. Estimate. To find a number close to an exact amount, an estimate tells about how much or about how many. Factor. An integer that divides evenly into another. Finite decimal. A decimal that contains a terminating number of digits. Equation. A mathematical sentence with an equal sign. The amount on one side of the equal sign has the same value as the amount of the other side. Equivalent. Naming the same number. Equivalent fractions. Fractions that have the same value. Expression. A variable or combination of variables, numbers, and symbols that represents a mathematical relationship. Evaluate. To find the value of a mathematical expression. Fraction. A way of representing part of a whole or part of a group by telling the number of equal parts in the whole and the number of parts you're describing. Capacity. Refers to the amount of liquid a container can hold. Classify. To sort into categories or to arrange into groups by attributes. Cup. A customary unit of capacity. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. Decimal fraction. A fractional number with a denominator of 10 or power of 10, usually written with decimal point. Decimal point. A dot separating the whole number from the fraction in decimal notation. Expanded form. A way to write numbers that shows the place value of each digit. Circle. A place figure with all points the same distance from a fixed point called a center. Composite number. A number greater than 0 that has more than 2 different factors. Decimal. A fractional number with a denominator of 10 or a power of 10, usually written with a decimal point. Decimal notation. A number containing a decimal point. Degree. A unit for measuring angles based on dividing one complete circle into 360 equal parts. Factor pairs. A set of two numbers when multiplied will result in a given product. Graph. A pictorial device used to show a numerical relationship. Formula. A general equation or rule. You can use a formula to find volume in a rectangular prism. Improper fraction. A fraction where the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. Horizontal. Line going left to right like the horizon. Foot. A customary unit of length. 1 foot equals 12 inches. Gram. The standard unit of mass in the metric system. Greater than. Greater than is used to compare two numbers when the first number is larger than the second number. Hour. Units of time. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 24 hours equals 1 day. Long divisions. A standard procedure suitable for dividing simple or complex multi-digit numbers. Gallon. A customary unit of capacity. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Hundredth. One of the equal parts when a whole is divided into 100 equal parts. Least common multiple. LCM. The smallest common multiple of a set of two or more numbers. Less than. Less than is used to compare two numbers when the first number is smaller than the second number. Identity property of multiplication. If you multiply a number by 1, the product is the same as that number. is not equal to, is not the same as. Metric system. A system of measurement based on tens. The basic unit of capacity is the liter. The basic unit of length is the meter. The basic unit of mass is the gram. Mixed number. A number with an integer and a fraction part. Multiple. A product of a whole number and any whole number. Identity property of addition. If you add 0 to a number, the sum is the same number. Inch. A customary unit of length, 12 inches - 1 foot. Key. A part of a map, graph, or chart that explains what the symbols mean. Kilogram. A metric unit of mass equal to 1,000 grams. Multiplicative identity of property of 1. Multiplying a number by 1 gives a product identical to the given number, also known as identity property of multiplication. Least common denominator is the smallest whole number that is divisible by each of the denominators of two or more fractions. Hundreds. In the decimal numeration system, hundredths is the name of the next place to the right of tenths. Inverse operations. Operations that undo each other. Length. How long something is, the distance from one point to another. Length is measured in units such as inches, feet, centimeters, etc. Ordered pair. A pair of numbers that gives the coordinates of a point on a grid in this order. Lowest terms. When a fraction is expressed with the fewest possible pieces, it is in lowest terms. Milliliter. A metric unit of capacity, 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. Intersecting lines. Lines that cross at a point. Kilometer. A metric unit of length equal to 1,000 meters. Like denominators. Denominators in two or more fractions that are the same. Liter. The basic unit of capacity in the metric system, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Mile. A customary unit of length, 1 mile equals 50 to 80 feet. Millimeter. A metric unit of length, 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter. Mass. The amount of matter in an object, usually measured by comparing with an object of known mass. While gravity influences weight, it does not affect mass. Order of operations. An order agreed on by mathematicians for performing operations to simplify expressions. Parallel lines. Lines that are always the same distance apart. Parentheses. Used in mathematics as grouping symbols for operations. When simplifying an expression, the operations within the parentheses are performed first. Pentagon. A polygon that has 5 sides. Obtuse angle. An angle with a measure greater than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. Numerator. The number written above the line in a fraction. It tells how many equal parts are described in the fraction. Number line. A diagram that represents numbers as points on a line. Parallelogram. A quadrilateral with 2 pairs of parallel and congruent sides. Pattern. A repeating or growing sequence or design, an ordered set of numbers or shapes arranged according to a rule. Minute. 1/60th of an hour or 60 seconds. Perimeter. The distance around a figure. Percent. A special ratio that compares a number to 100 using the symbol percent. Picture graph. A graph that uses pictures or symbols to show data. Prism. A three-dimensional figure that has two congruent and parallel faces that are polygons. The remaining faces are parallelograms. Perpendicular lines. Two intersecting lines that form right angles. Plane figure. A two-dimensional figure. Polygon. A closed plane figure made by line segments. Ounce. A customary unit of weight equal to 1/16 of a point. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Place value. The value of the place of a digit in a number. Product. The answer to a multiplication problem. Pyramid. A polyhedron whose base is a polygon and whose other faces are triangles that share a common vertex. Quadrilateral. A four-sided polygon. Plane. A flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. Quotient. The answer to a division problem. Proper fraction. A fraction less than 1. In a proper fraction, the numerator is less than the denominator. Remainder. The number that is left over after a whole number is divided equally by another. Rhombus. A quadrilateral with all four sides equal in length. Scale. The numbers that show the units on a graph. Sequence. A set of numbers arranged in a special order or pattern. Pint. A customary unit of capacity. 1 pint equals 2 cups. Rectangle. A quadrilateral with two pairs of congruent parallel sides and four right angles. Simplest form. A fraction is in simplest form when the greatest common factor of the numerator and denominator is 1. Rounding. To strategy to find about how much or how many by expressing a number closest to 10, 100, 1000 or 10, 100,000, etc. Solid figure. A geometric figure with three dimensions. Side of a polygon. Any of the line segments that form a polygon. Straight angle. An angle that is exactly 180 degrees, a straight line. Standard form. A number written with one digit for each place value. Square unit. A unit such as square centimeter or square inch used to measure area. Subtract. An operation that gives the difference between two numbers. Subtraction can be used to compare two numbers or to find out how much is left after some is taken away. Three-dimensional. 3D, existing in three dimensions, having length, width, and height. Right triangle. A triangle that has 190-degree angle. Square. A parallelogram with four equal angles and four equal sides. Sum. The result of addition. Table. An organized way to list data. Tables usually have rows and columns of data. Protractor. A tool used to measure and draw angles. Right angle. An angle that measures exactly 90 degrees / thousandth. One of 1,000 equal parts of a whole. Trapezoid. A quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides and one pair of sides that are not parallel. Unit fraction. A fraction that has 1 as its numerator. Vertex. A point at which two or more sides of a geometric figure meet. Vertices is plural of vertex. Whole numbers. Whole numbers are 0 and the counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. If a number has a negative sign, a decimal point, or a part that's a fraction, it is not a whole number. Inequality. A mathematical sentence that compares two unequal expressions using one of the symbols less than, greater than, or x, 26 greater than 13, 13 less than 26, 2 plus 4 less than 6 plus 3. Prediction. To state in advance on the basis of observation, experience, or scientific reason. Triangle. A polygon with 3 sides and 3 angles. Two-dimensional. Having length and width, having area but not volume, also called a plane figure. Volume. The number of cubic units it takes to fill a figure. Weight. The measure of how heavy something is. Intersect. To meet or cross. Word form. A way of using words to write a number, also called number names. Yard. A customary unit of length. 1 yard equals 3 feet or 36 inches. Meter. A standard unit of length in the metric system. Base of a solid figure. A base of a solid figure is usually thought of as a face upon which it can sit. Most solid figures have more than one base. Edge. The place where two flat surfaces of a solid figure meet. Probability. The chance that a particular outcome will occur, measured as a ratio of the total possible outcomes. Diameter. A line segment that passes through the center of the circle with endpoints on the circle. Zero property of multiplication. The product of any number and 0 is 0. Multiply. The operation of repeated addition of the same number. Line graph. A graph made of points connected by lines. This type of graph is used to show change over time. Face. A flat surface on a solid figure. Greatest common factor. GCF, the largest factor of two or more numbers. Mean. The sum of a set of numbers divided by the number of elements in the set. Frequency table. A table that lists a set of numbers or categories and their frequency. Range. The difference between the greatest number and the least number in a set of numbers. Deposit. To put or leave someone or something in a particular place, often to put money in a bank account. Vertical. A line going up and down. Balanced. When both sides have the same quantity or mass. Fair number cube. Are mostly used to generate random numbers in an equal manner, meaning each number has an equal or a 1 in 6 chance of being rolled. Ray. A portion of a line which starts at a point and goes off in a particular direction to infinity. Venn diagram. A diagram that uses circles to represent sets and their relationships. Withdraw. To remove or take away something in a particular place, often to remove money from a bank account. Data. A collection of information. Cubic unit. A unit such as a cubic meter to measure volume or capacity. Pound. A customary unit of weight. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Quart. A customary unit of capacity. 1 quart equals 2 pints or 1 quart equals 4 cups. Simplify. To express a fraction in simplest form. Unit cube. A precisely fixed quantity used to measure volume. Variable. A letter or symbol that represents a number. Tenths. In the decimal numeration, tenths is the name of the place to the right of the decimal point. Thousands. The name of the next place to the right of hundreds in the decimal numeration system. Prime number. A whole number greater than 0 that has exactly two different factors, 1 and itself. Second. 1/60th of a minute. There are 60 seconds in a minute. Tenth. One of the equal parts when a whole is divided into 10 equal parts. Unlike denominators that are not equal. Axis. A reference line from which distances or angles are measured in a coordinate grid.